call the meeting to order at 7:01. Let's stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, looking for a nomination for a clerk pro tem or a secretary tonight.
I nominate Corey.
You won't be able to read my notes.
Won't be able to read. I type better than I write. So that's,
Hey Trudy.
yeah. I'm turned on my volume.
Can you do that?
Can I
Would you
do what?
Can you take the notes?
Won't be able to read it.
Well, no, you really won't.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I'll take those.
Thank you.
All right, so Corey nominates Trudy. Any other nominations? Okay, any other nominations? All right, all in favor of Trudy being secretary, say aye.
Aye.
All right, it's unanimous. Trudy will take notes.
You sharpening your pencil.
I have no idea how to do this thing. Miles, what do I do here?
Here, let me get,
You do
whose
this on
tablet is that
Mondays.
down there? Let's grab that tablet. Yeah.
There's no on button. Thank you.
So Corey nominated me, and who second? We'll just say me because I don't think. Okay. There is now. There's that. Okay.
All right, public comment. Any public comment? Any public comment? All right, we'll move on to approval of the agenda for tonight.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda dated February 5th, 2026.
I second that.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay,
Keep it up.
we will approve the agenda. Approval of the
Do we
consent.
need to vote?
Oh, yeah, let's vote. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, and Benj is here. Yay. I'm doing your job for you.
Oh, sweet.
All right, approval of the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda, also dated February, or no, for the minutes, January 15th, 2026.
All A, B, and C, right?
Yes, all A, B, and C.
I second that.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it's approved. In your packet, there's a year-end report from the caretaker. If you guys read through that and have any questions, just reach out to me. We could also have her come to a meeting if you wanted to see her, but she's been vacationing and then having a couple deaths in the family, so funerals and things like that. So I didn't ask her to come tonight, but there is a letter from her. And I just want to note that a lot of the things on her list have already been taken care of by the DPW. So now we will have a presentation from GMed and a housing update. You can start.
I'm guessing I'm over here.
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Trevor Friedeberg. I'm the President and CEO of Greater Muskegon Economic Development. So we are Muskegon County's dedicated economic development organization serving all of Muskegon County. I want to make sure that I'm clear about that. The city has their own staff, so the city of Muskegon, they work on their stuff, and we work very closely with them, but we do everything else and want to support all of our communities throughout the entire county. Jen Hodges is here with me today. She is the housing, your hat that you're wearing today.
Yes, the hat
is,
I'm wearing today.
Housing coordinator for Muskegon County. And we've been working very closely on a few things, trying to promote housing throughout the county because these days housing is economic development. At least it's one of the arms that we're looking to lean into and support. And thank you, Jen, for passing out presentation. So I just wanted to quickly run through this, so I just have a few slides just to talk a little bit about economic development, what we do, how we can support you as a community. The first slide that I have is obviously after the title is just meeting the team. It's really small, teeny tiny, but the Greater Muskegon Economic Development team, we have a few people on staff. We also house the Apex Accelerator, which is a primarily federal contracting apparatus, but they also work with any government contracting. So they work with businesses and help them navigate and cut through the red tape, so to speak, just to make sure that they can get approved for projects and certain tools that are out there. But at its core, what I wanted to talk about, what is economic development? You'll see on slide 3, there's a textbook definition. I'm going to skip right over that because really what it is at its core is improving the quality of life through jobs, investment, and opportunity. And economic development organizations like GMED are not unique to Muskegon County. There's actually 10 prosperity regions that the state is carved into. We are in Region 4, which also includes the Right Place, which covers Kent County and really kind of the outlying counties. And we have Greater Muskegon Economic Development, solely focused on Muskegon and our growth here. And then also Lakeshore Advantage, so Allegan and Ottawa and Allegan counties, if you're driving south, just south of us, are covered by Lakeshore Advantage. There's 18 economic development organizations throughout the state, and again, not unique to Muskegon County, but it is something that is not in every single county either. So we are fortunate to have an organization dedicated and focused on growth. Next couple slides, I have some myth busting. It's a lot more exciting when I'm clicking through it, but because you can see all the answers now. But the first one is economic development is mostly about bringing in new companies. So not exactly. It's about retaining and growing existing businesses, workforce development, and community quality of life. The next myth is that incentives are taxpayer giveaways. So this is often misunderstood how these tools work. I spent 13 years at the Michigan Economic Development Corporation before heading up an organization down in Indiana for several years, a regional economic development group, before coming here. And I worked in incentives when I was at the state. So I understand intimately how those tools work. And some things I like to say, you know, kind of in jest, but also in all seriousness, if we're looking at a tool that abates 50% of taxes to secure a company, I'd rather have that 50% in our community, because 50% is better than 100% of zero, you know, if you're attracting an investment. Projects happen quickly once announced, not even close. I'm working on one that I've been working on since almost my first day on the job, which was June last year, and still very much in process right now. The next one is economic developers can control what projects come to a community. We can influence and prepare communities and position them for what they need and what they want, make sure that we're ready to accept the growth, but we can't control it. It's about readiness and collaboration at its core. And then the last thing, the last myth I have here is economic development is recruiting new companies. So a lot of times those are the things that make the headlines. Like Cytiva, that was actually a pure attraction project. They didn't have a presence here. They were from overseas. It was a lot of work. Got the project here, terrific. But over 70% of all of business growth that we see comes from existing companies. Case in point, just yesterday, GMED announced a expansion in Roosevelt Park for Motive Bowling. So they make bowling balls in Roosevelt Park, and they took over the old Michigan Spring building that was vacated about a year ago. And finding that project, that company that wanted to grow, finding that building that had been vacated, and helping them secure the tools that they needed to grow in Roosevelt Park was something that we did, and we're very proud of that project. A couple more things, just the project pipeline, you know, and there's a red circle around kind of the big part of that upside down pyramid, if you're following along on slide 12. The pipeline really goes from leads, so like RFIs, so the state will send things out and say, hey, there's a project looking, they need this much water capacity, this much energy, this many acres, or this many square feet in a building under roof, and we will fill out those profiles, send it back to the state, and 9 times out of 10 we don't hear anything. That's just how the game works. But we need to continue to be out there responding to those. If we have things that are appropriate, trust us, we are responding to those. It's one of those, it's a situation where, you know, you got to take as many at-bats as possible. That's the only way you're ever going to hit the ball and hit it out of the park, hopefully occasionally. Then you get into the opportunity phase. So once the company says, hey, you've got everything that we want, your community looks great, you've got the workforce, the talent development is there, they start to do a little bit more due diligence. And you'll see the funnel gets more narrow and narrow as you move down it. because then they come in for a site visit. Happy to report I had a company in earlier this week for a site visit, so that's great, good progress, and then a decision point. And you'll notice that the big red circle around leads and RFI, that part of the process takes the longest. So often we'll put something out there, we won't hear anything, or we will hear something, and sometimes it takes months, that we're working with companies, sometimes years in development. There's projects that I came into in June that we had been working on for well over a year at that point, and we're still kicking it around. And we're going to continue to kick it around until we see the success. Moving on, slide 13, just a couple terms to know. So economic development, we love our lingo. So business retention, expansion, BR&E, we like to call that. That's kind of our bread and butter, so that we're out there calling on businesses, making sure they understand the services, the tools that are available to help them grow. That's part of the attraction as well. So we're out there. I often will go to like national conferences to meet with site selectors, share the value prospect of Muskegon County. Site readiness, very important. If I'm out there selling the value prospect, a lot of times that is what is your product as an economic developer? It's land and buildings, right? And the more we have that, and the more we have an inventory of that we can share with folks that are interested in growing, the better we're going to be. So that's one thing that we do manage is a site that has all of our inventory of all land, all property. You can filter it. You can see utility usage, all sorts of different really good information for that initial desktop analysis, as we call it, that a site selector will go through. Incentives, of course, I touched on that a minute ago. Different tools that exist, through various tax codes, through the state, to be able to support and induce business growth and retention. RFIs, I touched on that. I touched on the pipeline as well. And then leverage ratio, that's something that's really critical too, because anytime we're looking at a project or supporting a project, it has to have a good return on investment. So, and what factors into that? There's a lot of things. It depends on the jobs, the wages, the community, the spin-off jobs due to the industry of the company. But we want to make sure that there's a positive impact. So that's always being looked at whenever incentives are considered for a project, making sure there is a positive return to the state, to the jurisdictions, and really to everyone involved. So there's win-win-win solutions. Economic development, it's really a three-legged stool, I like to say. So you got businesses need people, people need places, and places need businesses. And so goes the circle of economic development. And place is what really matters more and more these days. So the quality of life, the talent attraction piece. We're very blessed here in Muskegon County to have very beautiful quality of life assets, built assets that, frankly, in my last market in Indiana, people would kill for. And we are just very lucky to have a lot of those built things. But how do we better leverage them, promote them, and make sure that we are securing the right people? So the important stuff for all of you tonight, how can GMED assist? What can we do? What does this all mean? So there's a lot of different things that we can do, but I think what's most pertinent to share at this meeting is that we can help develop RFPs if you need help with that. If there's something that you want to do, we can help with that development. Grant editing and review, simple grant writing, federal grants and complex grant writing, grant management, project management, all things that sometimes in a lot of our townships, maybe there isn't capacity for that, but we are here to support whenever and wherever we can. A very quick example of that, in Fruitland Township, we worked with the Community Foundation for Muskegon County. We secured a small grant to help them with an application for a larger grant through MSHDA, so the Michigan State Housing Authority. And we were able to secure a $50,000 grant to help them with master planning development with an emphasis on housing. So we're currently going through that process, and it's actually leading to new developments that are being considered. And the thing I wanted to point out is that it was community driven. It was what the community wanted. We just came alongside to help basically augment the capacity of the municipality to make sure that they had everything that they needed to move forward. That's my presentation for now. Hopefully, and I'm happy to answer any questions if appropriate. But my main message and main takeaway tonight is just to say, if you have anything, if you have any questions or any additional conversations that you want to have, I'm more than willing to have those conversations and dive into more detail, understand what your needs, what your growth mission is, what your goals are as a community, and we want to come alongside and make sure that we're able to achieve those together. So, and Jen, you want to talk a little bit about housing? I'll let you kind of tag on.
Just really quick. I really wanted to get Trevor in front of you guys so you could see. For a lot of you are actually newer to the board, and part of Greater Muskegon Economic Development historically was what do you call it, subscription. You had to buy in and be a member. It's membership based. Well, all of us on wastewater are part of GMED. Part of our wastewater finances actually contribute to GMED. So some of these services that they provide, they're here to provide at no cost. Some of them in the grant writing assistance, there may be a nominal fee, but I just want you guys to be aware of that.
We're still going to be cheaper than the consultants.
Yes, absolutely.
No offense if there's any
You got a
consultants.
card? You have a card?
Yes, absolutely. I'll get you that.
Thanks.
Yep, I got one in my bag.
Yeah, so I just wanted to highlight that. But why am I here with Trevor? As he had said when he started out, housing is now considered economic development. We really are working hand in hand here because a lot of the incentives that Trevor had brought up are incentives for housing as well now. And my job with the county is to try to get some of this information out to all of you to let you know that the county is here in a very similar capacity to help with incentives and zoning reviews and looking at different programs. And in 2023, Muskegon County actually conducted a housing needs assessment countywide, and it determined that we are 9,184 units short of housing with what we need by 2027 to 2030. It depends on which part you look at. And they divided it up by county district or by county commission districts. And District 2 that you guys are in, there is a high need for a broader range of housing. There is a high need for workforce housing, and there is a high risk of you guys losing population because you don't have enough housing. So those, I'm trying to bring the information that's been identified to each different district to those boards so that we can try to work together to try to find the solutions to help mitigate some of these negative impacts, and also to just get you guys to come on board with some new housing trends. We're all stuck with what housing used to be is not what it is today, and those needs are not the same. So I'm happy to have conversations for incentives. Grant, I've helped Egelston Township, the city of Whitehall, and who else did I just help with? And Muskegon Township through this role with some potential funding to help with some of their developments and some programs that they're trying to implement. So that's what I'm here for, and that's what Trevor is here for, and we just want to make sure you guys are all aware of that.
What is workforce housing?
Oh, thank you. So workforce housing is now considered, some people call it affordable, some people call it missing middle. So the housing that we really need throughout the county is considered workforce housing. That is our median income, the middle income people here, our firefighters, our nurses, our teachers, the people making salaries, between $50,000 and $90,000. They're falling through the gaps because they're making too high of an income to qualify for government incentives, but they're not making enough to outbid those that are making higher and taking the housing stock we have. So what we're really focusing on, while we do need low income, when I come speaking to, I'm actually speaking about housing for most of us in here, the type of house that we can all afford on our incomes. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about missing middle or workforce bench. But I bet you knew that.
No, because
No?
I'm familiar with missing middle and
Yeah, it's all the same.
affordable, not less necessarily low income, but affordable is actually higher than average usually. What someone can afford, but yeah, that I've never heard it called workforce housing. I thought that would be connected to some kind of employer, so that's what I was thinking.
And so nationally, that's the problem we're having is there's so many different terminology for this. So I'm trying to use missing middle or affordable, but when I say affordable in one community, they instantly think low income. And when I say affordable in some other communities, they think something different. So I have to figure out which one you guys actually want to hear to make it.
And there's a hospital in Grand Rapids that's doing, it's called workforce housing, and they're actually housing doctors and all
Yeah.
their staff downtown,
Yeah.
so they can be close to the hospital.
Yeah, and there's state incentive through MISHDA. There's grant funding to help these employers become developers. And that's
I love that.
that's part of what Trevor and I are doing too, is trying to get the word out to different employers that those are options. Because, between Cytiva and Howmet, we're going to see hundreds of jobs. And Muskegon County is already, I think we increased by 3%, Dr. Isley said. Our workforce increased by 3% last year.
manufacturing,
And Kent, in manufacturing, Kent and Ottawa saw a 2% decrease. So we're growing. And our workforce we have 38% of our workforce is commuting into Muskegon County, and half of them would like to live here. And if we want to
What an
continue
opportunity.
growing our workforce, we need to find ways to consider bringing in more homes that those people can actually afford to.
Okay, so one of the limitations we have for increasing density is with our sewer system. So we may even have a sewer system where we want to have density, but that sewer system doesn't have the capacity currently to expand. So we need some help finding out where we have opportunities to increase the density while still maintaining or still being able to service our sewer customers. So if we could find those locations, we could really work on that. But we just need some expertise.
So-
And also where to expand our sewer nets to bring about the best ROI.
So there are a few things with infrastructure in general that are options. Well, currently Muskegon County has a grant that's available for all of the townships up to $5,000. And the Community Foundation has some funding available that can also help you pay for a study that can do an evaluation and see what would work for you guys. Sometimes you do have to invest in yourself to get investment back. But those are two really good options, because the Fruitland Township funding, they're getting $5,000 from the Community Foundation and $5,000 from Muskegon County. So we're interested in trying to help you guys as well. And one of the other projects I'm currently working on is creating a zoning atlas. It'll be behind the scenes, and it'll help us to see what communities have what land available, what zoning it's in, and where the infrastructure is that it can go. But that's a little bit off of the ways, but that's something I should have a meeting next week to try
Can
to
you repeat
propose in that.
that? That was just the last part.
The-
What does it do? It does those
I'll have access to a catalog that will tell me what communities have, what vacant land or developable land is available, what the zoning of that land is, and where the infrastructure is connected to it.
And then could you kind of consult us on the things that people are looking for or developers are looking for, and then how could we help to match that so we could be prepared if someone's looking?
So that goes to
We
some
would-
of,
we would love
we would
that.
love that. Some of the incentives that Trevor brought up, housing brownfield TIFs are a really big thing now. When we bring in developers or industrial users, we offer them tax abatements. We can do that for housing now, and you can do it for the infrastructure. So historically, when somebody wanted to put in a development and you needed sewer expansion, or wouldn't it be great if you got water expansion here, guys? But let's not put the cart before the horse, I know. But now you can offer abatements to those developers, so if they pay for that infrastructure up front, you can use those tax abatements to reimburse them over a course of time, whatever you guys agree to, which is another program I'm working on as well.
And that's separate from a TIF. It's kind of the opposite.
it would-
An abatement.
It's technically
two
it is a
things
TIF,
available.
yes.
Yeah,
Maybe
Yeah.
our neighboring township might be able to work with us on that for Brooks. That would be really sweet, wouldn't it?
Let me take my other hat off here.
Just tell her later.
There's always conversations. But yeah, and I'm telling you, Muskegon Township's a hard nut to crack though too.
It is.
So, I'm working that.
Mhm.
But yeah.
So how does that affect the pay difference between here and Grand Rapids for employees? I mean, because there's a big difference. So when you said 30% travel, I would bet you 50% travel to Grand Rapids.
Yeah, and our housing assessment does actually have that number, but I don't study that number because I want people to know how many we want to come in.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the people commuting out of here already live here. But I can look that up and get it back to you, Corey, and tell you what that number is.
Because the whole idea is not to bring low-income jobs in,
Sure.
Right.
because that's never going to help the community grow. If you have $300,000 houses that are being built, people can't afford them at $18 an hour.
I imagine
Yeah.
a lot of that is from the lower population areas around us that are sending people in, because usually people are attracted to the whatever the larger poll is, and we have Newaygo County, and we have like Mason County up north, or sorry, Oceana County, that they don't have a lot of opportunities, but people live out in the country, they still have to work somewhere, so I don't know.
No, I just know, like, especially when you look for job opportunities. If you go to Grand Rapids, you could get paid, you know, not even, maybe even double what you would get here, so.
But you also have to commute.
But that's because
Well,
Grand
that's why
Rapids
they
has
would
this
commute.
huge shortage of workforce.
You
And they're
could-
losing.
So
They're losing.
So they have to pay more
Yeah.
to get it.
Who's
They're
losing?
Kent County, they
Yeah.
decreased in their
Yeah.
workforce there,
Yeah.
where we
For a long
increased.
time.
I thought you said
In
they increased by
manufacturing, I
2.
should say. We increased by 3%. They decreased by 2%.
Oh,
Yeah,
missed that.
in manufacturing.
That's really crazy.
Yeah, we just heard that last week.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and part of our strategy, Corey, of course, when we're targeting companies, we're looking for the higher end companies, and they have to qualify for any sort of incentive through the state, they have to hit the regional prosperity wage, which
Okay.
is a fancy way to say that they've looked at everything in Region 4, and that wage has to be a starting wage of, I think it's $22.60.
Nice.
Starting wage. And like the Motive project that I mentioned earlier, they're going to be paying people starting at $24 an hour.
Good.
I'm working on another project where the average wage is $29 an hour. So we're trying to push things above the average. That's where our core is. That's what we're focusing on. I'm not looking at attracting businesses that are, low wage jobs. I'm not going to waste my time for exactly your point.
I just,
So
you
not
understand what I
service
mean?
jobs.
I absolutely understand what you mean. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people try to pull in whatever they can. And the problem is then the community doesn't grow because everybody's stuck in poverty.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Nope. You have to work outside of those forces, and that's what we're trying to do. It's part of our strategy.
thank you.
Okay, so one more thing. I've talked to you about Urban 3, that idea where they model each of the lots in a county, and they take out, okay, what does it cost to service this, but based in versus what is the revenue that comes in. If we could pull together some resources to see visually where the ROI is for each of the lots, and maybe we can accentuate the positive and like kind of like reduce kind of the negative. Like what are some areas where we're putting more of our money into it, but we're not really getting, like, it's costing us more money. You know what I mean? And if we could figure out what areas like where we could develop, where we don't have to spend any more, but we could have more development there, I mean, that would help us really map out our master plans and all that.
Well, and I think that the exercise that Jennifer's going to be going through with the Atlas, which I'm in that meeting too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
yes.
That's going to be really powerful data, and that'll really help you. A lot of times, just seeing where everything is and seeing where the infrastructure is. I mean, aside from getting into like the really granular, detail on the dollars in and dollars out, it should be a really good tool to kind of give you a guide, Atlas, as you're calling it, on where those developments should be and where it just makes sense, kind of just at a glance.
But we
almost.
wouldn't have access to that, right? It would just be you.
So that hasn't been determined yet. I have to pitch it to some funding resources next week to see about getting it completely funded. Part of the option is you may see me back here asking for a little bit of a contribution from each community that might want to have access to it. And if this is not set in stone, but if I can get it to work out that way and say you guys want to contribute a little bit, that might give you access to it then. But if it's something that the county ends up paying for as a whole, it'll be proprietary to the county, and the county will have access. Not that we can't use it to help you, but you'll have to come to us rather than having access yourself. But that's just my theory.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had the
So it's in the
kickoff meeting
works.
yet. It's in the
Still
works.
try it.
early stage. Yeah.
Very early
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
Trevor, going back to what you said about 10 minutes ago, maybe with, working toward a master plan or looking at a project, and I'm trying to remember exactly how you worded it, but working with communities and you're cheaper than consultants, but do
Yeah.
you work with consultants too, or just townships?
Yes, sometimes we do. Sometimes we do tap in consultants for depending on the needs. You know,
Like we have an engineer of record now, and
Sure.
that's kind of delayed us until we got to that point. So we finally got to that point, and now we're at a point where we can't make money, and I'm not sure how well this board understands that we are not a profit organization, but we do have to expand our infrastructure. So I think we would be interested in doing some of those meetings and trying to figure out some things. But we also did recently do, what was it called, Trudy, with money? We had like ARPA funds, and we did cameras in the sewer system.
Oh, you had the SAW grant.
The SAW grant.
Yeah.
So we.
Sorry, Trudy, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's all right.
I wasn't here, so I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
But we already know a lot of things, and I think that we just don't understand them. And like the old planning commission is not here now; it's a new planning commission, and the sewer committee is not initiating projects. We just have to all get on the same page. But maybe GMed could help us with our engineer, and we could all work out something that would be workable.
Yeah. No,
And
we're happy to have more conversations
The
around that.
SAW grant, it was a plan of maintaining your infrastructure. Like year 4, you're gonna need to camera the lines. Year 10, maybe some lift stations.
But like
it's
we
kind
know
of
we
a-
don't need to re-camera everything. Like 'cause we
No,
already
but that
have
doesn't look forward to expanding or developing that
Right.
SAW grant is to use
Our
the
engineer
infrastructure we have
does
and-
know, but we recently voted to not do anything. So
No, wait, what?
our engineer does know projects that we could do. Like we don't need to have a study of what we could do. I mean, we could talk about ideas, but like we know where our system is, where it starts, stops, where the weaknesses are, what needs upgraded, and what can take on capacity. So there are places that can take more. But do we
Yeah.
have any more questions for
I do.
them?
Okay, what types of that workforce housing are you seeing that is in most demand? Like, what does it look like in?
Townhouse.
Yeah,
apartment.
because all of ours is like single family
Single-family.
detached. Is there something like
Duplex.
different that's working and that
Yes.
there's a higher demand for?
Yes, so there is a higher demand for smaller starter homes. Starter homes no longer exist essentially now. A lot of communities, and I don't know, I'm sorry, what Egelston Township's minimum square footage is for a house, but there's a big push to get them down to 800 and 900 square feet minimum.
That's about where we are.
Or is that where you are?
850, I
Well,
think.
that's a good head start, but there's a push for tiny homes. We're trying to bring in homes, when we talk about affordable homes, anything within the 250,000 and lower range. And
Square feet?
it's dollars.
Oh, okay.
So no square feet.
Wow.
And it just depends on each community. It depends on the development, because if you have a development that comes in and they're putting in the same footprint of homes, all 1,000 square feet, they're all making them at the same time, that's going to decrease costs that way. But if you're just doing infill homes, that could vary. So it just depends on what you're looking at and how you want your plans to look. But we're also seeing a big increase of accessory dwelling units by right. So to help those, some of you might know them as mother-in-law suites, but by right is helping people, at least, we have an age of people where college graduates can't afford to live somewhere else, so they're coming home, or seniors can't afford to age in place, but if they can move in with their children and have their own independent living spot on their home, that's helping too, and then that's freeing up one of the seniors' homes for another family to come purchase. So that's not like a one size fits all answer, unfortunately.
Is it ever?
I know that's.
No, it's never.
Yeah. That's it. I have got nothing.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you guys.
And there's
Oh,
one
yeah.
extra thing I wanted to say that GMed, we're having our first ever annual meeting. It's during lunch on February 25th, so I'm just going to pass these out. You're all invited, of course.
All right.
Amanda.
Where's this meeting at?
So it's going to be at the Muskegon Country.
Yes?
Oh,
You have a question?
Thank you. I'll put that in.
Okay.
I have a comment, not just
you.
specifically for this board, but especially for development and economic development. When we talk about infrastructure, coming from a world of public safety for 38 years, public safety is never considered as infrastructure an expansion of whether it's housing or industrial. And it puts us behind the 8 ball as a department and as a community trying to provide these services. I strongly recommend in master planning and in economic development, when you're looking at whether you have enough municipal water, sewer, electrical, do you have enough public safety?
Yeah.
It seems to get overlooked, and then we're behind the 8 ball every time trying to catch up.
You are right. It's a great
I've
point.
worked on projects before where we pay for a fire truck for the community just to address that exact need. So 100%. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, action items. Consumers Energy Franchise Agreement. I sent this on to our attorney. She reviewed it and suggested a couple changes that reflect what other municipalities have in their contract language. I spoke with Rich and he doesn't foresee any issues with that. He's actually on vacation right now and hadn't heard back from his legal team if they approved those. But so you'll see what he sent me ends with section 10. She has 2 additions. They're listed as section 9 and 10. I would assume that those would just become 11 and 12. But just looking for a conditional approval if they accept it with those 2 additions. They will pay for us to advertise it in the Chronicle because we have to post it in the Chronicle. So Consumers Energy will pay for that. We had this agreement in the past and it expires after 15 or 20 years. So it's just time to renew it.
And this is for them to use our easement.
Yes.
What they want to change?
So they proposed the contract that has page 1 and 2. And then you can see there's an email at the top that says, "Hi Mindy." Our attorney is suggesting we add section 9 and 10, vacation or relocation, and then compliance with laws. And Rich said he doesn't foresee any problem with that. But he will circle back with me. You know, if there was an issue, then we would discuss it. We wouldn't move forward. But if they accept it and add those into the contract, they would like us to approve this and then get it posted.
Do we need a motion?
Yes, we just needed a motion. So again, just to clarify, our attorney approved everything with the addition of 9 and 10. He's okay with that, so looking for a motion to approve it with those additions.
I make a motion that we approve the Consumers Energy franchise renewal, including section 9 and section 10.
A second.
All right, we have a motion by Peggy, second by Benj.
Motion to approve consumer franchise agreement with addition of section 9 and 10.
Yes.
Thank you. And Ben, second?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, that carries. All right, the Consumers Energy bulb replacement. We voted a few meetings ago to convert the HPS bulbs to LED. 28 of them were already converted. So they've updated our records. We will see a change in the billing. If you remember, that's actually a very small portion. It's mostly distribution charges. But I'm just looking for the board to let me know if you would like me to look into different light bulb options. They also requested that we keep them in the same area this time instead of all over the township.
Aw.
But do we want to just pick 28 different ones that have not been upgraded?
I would say so.
You're saying 28 in the same area?
So I have a list and I asked her, I said, well, you know, how do I know? And she said, well, the records we have is what we gave you. So we've updated those records. So what they would do is they would go out again and manually see when they're out there. And then if they're already upgraded, obviously we wouldn't be charged to upgrade them and they would change our billing. But they like a certain neighborhood or location,
Okay.
you know, maybe all along Apple and Maple Island or
How
something.
about Holland, Wolf Lake?
Holland Wolf Lake?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could look for houses all along there. Just trying to keep it Holland Wolf Lake, and then maybe if there's like roads that offshoot those, just to
Right.
keep it all centralized in one location.
Yeah.
Going back to those 28 you said, did you ever find out when those were installed and if
No.
we're
They-
still charging us the old rate with the
They don't know.
non-empty balls?
They don't have a record of it until now.
Imagine
Might owe us some money.
Yeah, that'd be nice. They owe us.
Okay, so
So I guess we don't need to vote on it. I just wanted to get a consensus from the board. I
then you
can bring it to
investigate some
the,
more.
I can either bring it to a future meeting and we can vote on it, or because we've already voted to approve the expenditure, I can just replace the 28 with new addresses, however you guys would like.
Like you just replace, I'd like you to continue
with
to
that.
do it since we've already approved it. Just
Okay.
different addresses.
And everyone's okay with Hall and Wolf Lake and surrounding streets? Okay, I will do that.
We better take a note of.
Because of the
consensus,
schools and stuff, I just
streets.
would rather start there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I, just so you know, I will keep it in the same dollar amount, like we won't exceed that 40,000 that it was before.
The vicinity of Hall and Wolf Lake
Yep,
Road. I forgot I had to take minutes.
okay.
Around the same cost. as
Yeah.
Already approved,
Yep.
Not to exceed.
not to exceed, thank you. Thank you, I'm ready.
All right, next up, we voted in our last meeting to change our fees for sewer connection. We had a resolution in place that it was going to increase, we had a rate for 24, 25, and 26. And we increased it, instead of going to what it was gonna be, the 2,900, it's now 3,500 for the indirect rate. I got a call from Jeff Miedema. He's got the new development going in. They had confirmed back in August what the rate was, and so they have asked that we honor that, what they were told it would be, because they were expecting an increase, and now it's much higher. So that would be, you know, substantial expenditure
How
for
many
them.
units do they have?
Proposing 52 houses.
And that's along Brooks Road?
Yes. So I talked with the building department about it because that was who they were communicating with, Cassidy and Jeff. And, you know, my personal opinion is that we should honor the price that they were given, because that part of their delay was our fault for not having an engineer record and delaying the approval of their project. They waited on us for, I think, 2 or 3 months. So that's really not any fault of theirs. But I don't know when they would be connecting. So I don't know how long, you know, we could say if it's within a certain time frame, we would honor the old rate, or.
Okay, so when did we approve that? Rate increase? From
Last meeting, wasn't it?
The board approved a rate increase for 24, 25, and 26 a long time ago. And then the resolution that Joan brought overlapped and did 26, 27, 28. We already had 26, but we increased it again. Which I don't think was the right thing to do, since we already had that. And also, if we're going to give exception to this person, what about someone else? We have a builder that wants to build right
Do we have-
now, and
Do we have another person in the same situation where it was, the project was approved and they were given that amount and then we upped the rate? Like, is there another situation like that?
I asked if there were developments, and I was told
Any
there's
other
not
pending
any
developments?
current developments. I don't know if the PC knows of anything that's happening, but like single builders would be different. But if there's an email that's confirming a rate, I would say I think that we should honor it for people.
I
we
think
have
so.
we have a resolution that determined the rate from 3 years ago. And then in 26, we raised it when we already had a 26. It's been out there. It's been at a public meeting. It was approved a
Well,
long
we
time ago.
definitely want to encourage development out there, especially more of the sewer connections. So and it's more added to our sewer system that we could really use to help maintain it. So I would definitely approve that, especially since they've had the project going since we upped the rate. So I'm fine with that. In the single family homes, we wouldn't even know about because that doesn't come before the planning commission. So I'm not sure what direction we want to give to Jeff.
We have a builder right now that wants to build. What are we gonna
Wants to
charge him
build,
for a hookup?
But he
right.
knows now that the
He
rate's
wants
going
to,
up.
he's ready to pull a permit. Yeah, but that rate has been 3 years old.
The rate
How
is-
can we
but-
give an exception to one company when that rate was established a long time ago? And then we say,
Has he already submitted a site plan review?
it's a house,
Okay,
it's a
so,
house.
okay, so that's not something that was approved by the board or anything before the rate? So I don't see how it would apply.
But we have a rate right now that we're going to give an exception to this
To
person.
that person, right?
And we have other people that a first established rate of 56 or
But it's-
5,800, now it's 7,000. I have a problem that we give I want him to be on the old rate,
Well, that's
but
what I'm
I think
thinking.
everyone should be that.
Yeah, am I hearing it right, that you want to keep it at the same rate as before?
I think
For this-
we should grandfather in someone who had he was waiting on us, so I think we need to grandfather in just Jeff Meadama's development.
Mhm.
I didn't know about anyone else that was in the works of anything, so at this point, I wouldn't say we should do everybody because we did make a resolution to change our rate. But because he was expecting it, he's a developer and he said, he will stop developing here if he
That's
has to
true, he
pay the
did say
increased
that.
rate.
When does the rate go up to the 35? Was that the beginning of the year?
January 1st.
Yep.
So it's already
So the
up.
direct hookup is 7,000, this is an indirect, it's 3,500. And it used to be 2,700. So it's like $800 times 52 houses, which is substantial, I agree.
Mhm.
I don't understand why we overlapped, why our new resolution wasn't 27, 28, and 29. We already had 26 established, and then in 26, we
But the board
changed
can
it.
change their mind anytime in the vote.
Then they should have to live by what we have now. He hasn't pulled a permit yet,
Nothing?
But the rate already went up.
so why aren't we charging him the
Jen,
rate?
do
He
you know
hasn't
when
pulled
they
a
would
permit yet.
connect?
You should.
Do you have any idea what the time frame would be?
I don't even know what point he is in his process, so I have no idea. I haven't
Everybody's
connected
in the
with
dark.
him enough. Does he own the whole development, like the whole site already?
Like 25 acres or something, he's on for a long time.
He's a good developer.
So has he already been like pulling permits or
No.
had site plan review, anything?
He did site plan review.
Yeah, that's been approved.
But they waited on us for 3 months for an approval from an engineer.
Oh,
Yeah, it's,
They needed an
it would make a
engineer,
bad thing
they needed an
worse.
engineer to submit their sewer plan to
Yeah,
the
We
state.
just learned about that. Yeah, we didn't even know, none of us.
I vote to grandfather them for sure because they've had such a mess basically with not having our engineer of record and delaying them already. Yeah, go for it.
But they haven't pulled any permits and neither has this person that wants to
Don't
build a
care.
house. They
No.
might care though.
Well,
And they might
they've already
bring it
had
to
a
our
site plan
attention.
review approved, so
If they've communicated with the building department and there's like an email history, I think we could entertain those one by one. But for a big developer, and there are ways that, Jeff had some ideas about how to, make it workable for both sides, if it's not gonna happen in the next month where he's paying for the permit, maybe we can make arrangements that he pays in advance for part of it or does a portion or, I don't understand all of that side of it. That's not my expertise, but
I don't want to put any restrictions on because I just don't know how feasible it would be for them. That'd be arbitrary of me without knowing where they are in the process, but
this, the stubs are already there from what Herb said,
okay.
so. Is that right?
The laterals?
The laterals?
I think so because they're indirect, they're only doing two. They're hooking up to the sewer line under Brooks Road and then it U's in there and it comes back out. So they'll feed to two different spots into the system. Each house isn't going to be, that's an indirect. They're having their own infrastructure they're building, which the township will then be responsible for. I'm letting you know that because there will be more conversation later pertaining to that.
Like what?
Like who's going to pay for the infrastructure when we don't collect the sewer bill? we're liable for it in our township, but we're not collecting any revenue from that.
Because it goes to Muskegon Township?
So there's lots of
Oh,
stuff
so
to
because
do.
we're liable for maintaining it.
Yes,
How's that gonna work?
we've had some
That's
phone
the
calls into
question.
Muskegon Charter, we're waiting to hear back from them. About 6 or 8 calls we've made to Eric, and we've sent emails, and we haven't had a response yet. Thank you. Saxon hasn't returned calls either. Yeah. You probably should know that probably should know that there's a project coming.
Yeah, we need to, can you put a pin in that and just like get back to us about like how, what our plan is for maintaining that in the future? Cause there has to be something done about it, like if we're, cause that's gonna be a big project if we had to redo that and we're getting nothing from it. But that is a separate issue, so.
Yeah. I'll go to our check. Do I have to write some minutes for this? Yeah. Are we voting or consensus?
Yeah, we probably
So
should
what,
vote.
we need a motion then.
I motion to grandfather in the old rate for the project.
The
Or
old
the-
rate, can you be
Uh,
specific?
Okay.
Okay.
I make a motion to grandfather in the old rate of 2,900 for an indirect hookup cost for
Willow Creek.
Willow Creek. Thank you.
Indirect hookup cost for Willow Creek.
I second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. We will roll call vote.
Oh, Cory,
Yes.
Yes.
no.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-1.
All right, that motion carried. Chief McGinnity. Wake up, it's your turn. No. Did you have anything you wanted to say?
No, they're just reports for the
Okay.
record for information.
So he passed out at the beginning of the meeting, to go with the smoke alarm report. And just the monthly reports are in there.
Yeah.
Captain Swartz did a report for the smoke alarm program and senior millage stuff.
I feel robbed. Usually you have something for us to purchase every time you've been here. Like, am I sleeping?
Do we work with an EMT company at all to help go on these calls? Like a lot of these medical calls, should our fire department have an ambulance of their own or something like that?
You don't wanna go that route.
No. Just a thought.
I've been in that for about 30 years.
I would like to call your attention to the letter from Captain Swartz. So we approved $46,167.76 for black box of smoke detectors. So far, we spent $20,239.03. It's kind of almost impossible to spend that much when they're like $50 each. How much is smoke detector, Alex, that we were buying before, do you know? 50, 70?
Yeah, they've been all over the place.
They're expensive when they're 10
The
years.
lock boxes ranged anywhere from $40 and then they skyrocketed all the way up to $86 when we were buying them, so there's really no median value to any of the materials that we were buying. It was the pricing index was kind of all over the place throughout that process. Right now, the smoke alarms and that, we're getting from My Prevention through the state of Michigan, so there's no cost to us for those. The only cost that we're still incurring, which would be for like the address signs that we're providing to seniors, the states, and then the lock boxes if needed.
And the My Prevention, is that what it's called? There's no age limits, not to have to be a senior, there's no acid
No,
test,
and
nothing.
we've evolved over to
Yeah,
that.
too.
Yeah, we've evolved over into that program for that purpose and also for reporting purposes. So keep in mind the numbers that you have in front of you are our best records that we have manually going through everything. We've since corrected that problem, and it's all trackable now through the MI program. So we'll have a lot more accurate numbers for you.
When we were doing senior millage, using senior millage money to buy those, did we put more than one smoke detector in every house? Like whatever's required, one in
Yes.
each bedroom, one in
Yeah,
each level,
there's a
one in each.
requirement.
And the My Prevention will do the same?
Mhm.
Thank you.
The same for CO alarms. The MI Prevention provides a combination smoke CO alarm as well.
And I'm just wondering about that other 26,000 that we approved. I don't know if the senior millage maybe wants to take that up.
We have a meeting on the 12th.
Yep. So there's still lots of money there.
Maybe they could discuss reallocating some of that.
Right.
I would say leave some because the year's not over and I don't know what they've got. There's another report. I didn't bring it to the board meeting because it came after packets, but I did give Trudy a copy
Yeah.
of what they have in stock on the shelves over there. So we can share that with you so you know, but maybe we can move some of those funds to something different. But keeping some still for that program, and
Sure.
I think that's a good idea.
we're coming up on a new budget year, so.
And at the time, we didn't know, because we were sending out a multitude of letters up to residents, seniors, so we didn't know what kind of response we were gonna get back, hence the
Yeah.
higher number that was requested. We have fulfilled everything that we've had brought in or requested to go out. Now that we have the MI prevention in place, we have our feet under us. Now we'll put out through our JotForm app where residents can go on and they can sign up for us to come out. And we'll utilize the MI program to go out and do that. And then if they are a senior, we'll still provide block box and or address sign.
And is that,
In addition, if someone does want an address sign that's a non-senior, they do have the option to pay, I think it's the $17 at the township, and then we'll still provide the sign and go out there and put it up.
and install it?
Yeah.
What's my question? I've lost it.
All right.
Oh, I wanted to say our firefighters have done a terrific job. They, between their days on duty, they're going to these homes and installing and, you know, if they get a call, they have to leave, and they've done a great job
It's happened at
getting
my
out there
house.
and
They had
getting
to
into
be
the
there like 3
community.
times.
They had to come back, so they've done a great job of installing all the things that people have requested.
they have.
Appreciate that, Alex.
All right, next up is senior millage plowing addition. Peggy, did you want to talk about that?
Yeah. We are probably out limited already the snow plows for our seniors in our area. So actually, I'm just looking for board approval. If I could add on 5 more pushes, up to 5 more pushes to conclude the end of the year, or our season.
Per house of those 50 people that we have?
Yes, yes. So
Why did we go with one with only 10 pushes when we had another offer?
we didn't know
for
what kind
20?
of winter we were going to have because we have had mild winters. This has been really hectic winter we've had this year. You know how many times I've shoveled? So
We
I'm
knew-
kind of thinking of all these other people. They still need to get out to their doctor's appointments and get groceries and whatnot.
I think because it was the first time to try out,
Yeah,
see how it
this is,
worked and
this is
limit it to 50 people.
this is like a pilot program to see how it's gonna go.
That's how it was.
Yeah. I was not happy with that selection with the reduced number of pushes. That didn't seem wise to me. I feel like we should have gone with we would have saved a lot of money
Well,
if we
what we
went with
had
the other
done
person.
is we had talked to our, the 3 people that we interviewed, and they were giving us an idea of how many pushes they have in prior years to what they have used, but we didn't know we were gonna have a year like we're having
Right.
this year. You know, it's
I
different.
did.
You did, why didn't you
Yeah,
warn us?
we all knew it in the fall. Like, if you look at that Farmer's Almanac and stuff, they've been telling us for months before, like, the first snowfall, that it was going to be a harder winter.
Well,
So
yeah,
we've-
I did read the farmer's almanac.
And we knew that even before we approved the snow plowing. So I just wish we would next time go with
We
a
will
higher
do
number of
better.
pushes.
We will do a higher number,
Mhm.
probably even more people.
Yeah, and then all of the lengths of the driveways, basically everyone is a large or long driveway. There's like hardly anyone with a short driveway of less than 35 feet. So
Yeah, that's gonna be addressed.
yeah,
Yes.
so that's like it was already twice as much as the people that we go with for the county, it was already twice as much, and we got less pushes for it, and now we have to pay for extra pushes.
We do have the money in the account to add up to this 5. And plus still have money left over for anything that might incur.
And also, he quoted us a price of 25, but the contract said 30. That we
Yeah, that was
presented to
funny,
him,
wasn't it?
So that was the issue too. Okay.
I would like to make a motion
Okay.
that to add on up to 5 more snow pushes for our senior citizens who are previously signed up on the snow removal, ending in our 2025-26 snow season.
Second, and discussion. So there's another issue I have where the people who are the most informed in the township grab up all those pushes, right? So nobody else really has a chance to get at it by the time they hear about it. It's already known in the circles of the people who attend and all that. So like they snatch them up and nobody else even knows about it.
I think it'd be awesome if next year we could offer it to 50 new people.
I just gave it to
Yeah.
you so you wouldn't
Like
have
if
to
you
write
did it
all
last
out.
year, then you're kind of like, you're on a waiting list.
Yeah.
A good thing to do would send it to the mobile home parks, because there's
This is a-
729
this is a
in
huge
Apple
learning
Park, well, they're
curve
not all
for us.
seniors, but
Well, and if you,
500 at Echo Craft, yeah, that'd be a good thing.
And I
we
wouldn't mind
evaluate-
providing it for more people either, if we have the money.
evaluate as they sign up, we might be able to include more people next year, because these turned out to be
Yeah.
all, $50 or $60 driveways, and there were none of the 30 or 40s that we expected.
Oh, I
So
expected.
Well, I think we need to define it differently.
Yes.
I think
This
that's
is
all
like
part
a
of the
safe
senior
pilot
village
program.
committee
We didn't know that was trying
conversations.
to help our
And-
seniors.
Yes,
you know,
and we
local
have,
seniors.
we have.
Yes,
And if
have.
we go with someone who gives us more for our money, more people, twice as many people could have had it for that same
I
amount.
think we should hire more than one contractor.
Yeah, we
It's
could have
almost
had
humanly
one or two.
impossible what we've expected Mike to do. and he's
all
done
right, we
great
have a
job.
motion and a second.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and vote.
Okay.
We'll do a roll
Roll
call.
call? Okay, start with you this time. Amanda?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
All right, motion carries.
thank you.
Who seconded that? I'm sorry, I missed that.
There's me.
Bench?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, the last item is the DPW Parkway Emergency Repair invoice. So we had an invoice last time, but that was the service call, and then this is the actual repair.
That's way less
or
than I thought it was gonna be.
Or that, maybe it's the
I was
excess.
looking at that too.
Yeah, it is excess. It was an estimate, I think, before.
The other
It's a
one was
little
an
bit over.
estimate, and this is the
Yeah.
overage.
For the record, I'd just like to say thank you, Jesus, that it's not that high. All right, cool. Do we have to approve this or no?
Yes.
Yeah, we
Okay,
need a
well, I
motion.
motion to approve.
Second.
To approve $2,948 to CNC
Yes.
Yes.
for emergency repairs at Parkway?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Let's roll call vote.
I'm supposed to go last, I think. Peggy?
Yes.
Benj?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
Amanda?
Yes.
Trudy, yes.
All right, motion carries. Motion to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn.
Okay. I get to do it. I didn't get to do anything.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 8:04.